So, Sonia, thank you so much for joining us today. You've achieved so much on a global stage, but it seems you always carry Cove close to your heart. So it's lovely to be talking to you today in your hometown. Before we dive into the questions, I guess just to give context to our chat, it's the Great Island Theatre project, and that's about creating a safe space for people to express themselves through performing arts and storytelling and drama, and especially younger people. So I guess starting here at home in Cove and your youth, could you tell us a bit about what community groups such as, the athletics clubs you were part of in Cove meant to you growing up?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was definitely the Ballymore Cove Athletic Club was the main group that I was involved with, and I suppose it was somewhere I went after school, and I often went there straight after school, and we trained in the fields up behind the community college now, and I suppose it was a place that you could go and you could just be yourself, and I think a place where I probably gained a lot of confidence and belief in myself, and it's a growing place when you're young, where you can be outside of home and I suppose away from your parents and just doing your own thing. I was always and still am really grateful, for what I got from the Ballymore Cove Athletic Club and all the different stages that I went through there, from a young athlete to, a junior and then senior international athlete, travelling, it started off all over Cork, then Munster, then Ireland, and then, further afield to international races. But I suppose how it really means a lot to me now is that anytime I ever came home from any of the international success that I had, that, there was always a huge welcome home, and you were, very quickly brought back to the roots where you started from, and never, you would never forget the support that I got down through all the years. So, I think everybody can't be a sports person. So I think to have the Great Island Theatre Group and to have a place where young people can go, if that's what their interest is, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, like you say, it's about being able to express yourself, and that's not always through sport. And Cove have some great places to express through sport. So obviously our ambition is to do that through the performing arts.
Yeah, there's amazing places for sport. And one thing I do always remember with Ballymore Cove is that they were always looking to have a clubhouse. And it was always a thing for us, because we used to get changed inside the doorway of the vocational school. And we had a porta cabin for a long time, and it used to get broken into all the time. And then finally we have the clubhouse that we have now. And, it's a great meeting place to have your name on a small building up at the track. So I think, for the Great Island Theatre Group, I think to have a place that you can call your home and that people can go to is, probably what you're really after here, to, have a place to have your name and where you can go to and that you can call home.
Absolutely. And you kind of mentioned a story of remembering some special times there. Is there any other sort of, I guess, when we think of the creative arts and what the Great Island Theatre might become, is there any other memories that come to mind of how maybe a group of other athletes or a coach or someone in that community shaped your confidence or the athlete you became down the line?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you have a group and you have a place where people meet, you'll find leaders and people who will, attract young people to come, and they want to go there, not because what they want to do, but because of the people who make it special for them. And I suppose one of the people who was really important in my life growing up in athletics was Pat O'Halloran. He was there, from the very beginning, and, he just made it fun and exciting, to meet at the track and do a few laps. And then, you were just getting ready for the races that would be like little adventures that you would go to travel to on the weekends. So I think it's all about the fun and the community and bringing people together to do something that they enjoy doing. And it's not always the result, like in a race, it's not always the result of the race is the most important thing, but what it I suppose the journey that you take to get to that point. And we often look back at training camps and, the weeks and months and years leading up to a big race. And all those weeks are where you get all the memories from and the fun times that you look back on. The races, that's just the thing that you're chasing along the way, the thing that makes you get up every day, the things that gets people to work together and support each other. And you get a lot of success when you have a lot of people with similar goals working together and achieving different things.
Absolutely. It resonates, anytime we've put on a show at the Hull Bowling Theatre Group. You're right, you have memories on stage, but actually it's the weeks of rehearsing and the coming together in the evenings that really kind of stick with you, and the fun you had in the journey up to actually pulling the curtain up and having the lights on you. So you can kind of connect the two quite easily.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think that most people don't know about unless you're involved. And, it's all that behind the scenes stuff is the fun parts. And it's the things that the people who are out there putting on the show can relate to. And they know, what's gone into every show and every performance is so much more than just the final performance on the stage.
Absolutely. From your sense, what would that mean for Cove to have somewhere to put on shows and for the people of Cove to attend shows?
I think people in Cove would really appreciate being able to attend a show in their town, one that they can walk to from their own house, because you don't always want to have to get in your car and drive to Cork or wherever to see a show in a theatre. So I think it would be really important to have a theatre in Cove to give the opportunity for people in Cove to perform, but then also people in Cove to come in and watch, enjoy, and to appreciate the talents of so many people in Cove. So, there's so many ways where a theatre would be a central point to bring people together, not just the people using it, but the people going to attend. And I think it would be exciting, and it is an exciting time for Cove to have this idea and to have a place that, it's going to take a lot of work to put it together. So you're going to have that as well, the people who actually help to create the theatre and for the people who will use it.
Exactly, yeah. We talk about the journey to stage, the journey to race. Right now we're in the journey to just creating this vision into a reality. So that's hopefully what we'll remember when we open the doors at the Parochial Hall. Do you see any connection between theatre and sport in terms of discipline or expression, anything that you can kind of relate to in the performing arts to your journey with sport?
I think you can relate sport to a lot of things. So I think there's discipline required, there's commitment, there's dedication, and the desire to do it. And I think when people have all those things and you apply it to whatever you choose to do, and whether that's sport or theatre or the arts or music, I think there's a lot of things in common, and so you can relate to a lot of people. So I think artists and actors and musicians can in many ways relate to sports people because they know the work they put in, and it may not always be as physical as running for miles and miles, but there's a lot of thought and commitment put in and time. And I think anything that anyone is passionate about, then the work is not that hard. You have to do it, but because you love doing it, then it's easy work. And I think so no matter what anyone is passionate about, then when they put in the work and the commitment, then they get the results that they deserve. My other coach in Cove, Sean Kennedy, he used to always say to me, you only get out what you put in. So if you work hard, then you'll get the rewards will come eventually. You just got to be persistent and keep pursuing, what you really want to achieve, and the results will come.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's such an amazing thing to find a passion, isn't it? It's really fulfilling to find something that you love to do. And I think in Cove right now, we don't really give the youth an opportunity to find a passion through the performing arts. So it's a really exciting prospect, I guess, to open that up for the youth of Cove.
It is. It's a new thing that, you know, they can, for young people to aspire to, you know, because, you know, a lot of people, they think they have to do sport because it's just an easy option for people to do. But if you're not very good at sport, then what do you do? And everybody's good at something, and you just have to find that thing that you can put your mind to, and you know, really go after it.
Yeah, we've clearly got the talent. You know, we've got Pac in a Van, lots of upcoming Irish actors, world renowned. So we just need to nurture that talent and hopefully do that even more so in Cove.
I think so. And I think when you have a town as big as Cove with a lot of young people, a lot of schools here, then you just have to have the stepping stones in place for young children to be able to go through all the different processes to get to, you know, to follow their dreams, and, you know, not just look at actors and famous people as, you know, people that they look up to and people that they aspire to being like.
Absolutely, because it could be them one day.
It could be.
Yeah. Amazing. So, Sonia, you've pledged a seat for the Great Island Theatre, which we're incredibly grateful for. What made you want to pledge that seat, and what made you want to support the theatre?
Well, I think in recent years I've been spending quite a bit more time in Cove, and I'm always walking around the streets of Cove and always looking for new things and, you know, what we have. I think, you know, I think when you've spent a lot of time away, you come back and you appreciate so much more what we have in Cove. So I think when I first started following the idea of the Great Island Theatre and having a theatre in Cove, and it's a spot that I walk past most days, and, you know, it's a building and there's nothing going on in there right now. So I think to bring new life into a building in Cove is a really great idea, and, you know, what better way to do it than to have the Great Island Theatre in there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what would you, I guess, encourage anyone else in the community to do, you know, if they're a bit scared about joining a club or getting involved even to support the Great Island Theatre? What would you say to the young people who are nervous to do that or on the edge of joining and getting involved?
I think, like, there's lots of examples of wanting to do stuff, and, you know, we can all read about things and see things online, and you think that's a good idea or you'd like to do it, and, you know, some people think that it's not, you know, they're not that person who wants to sign up or wants to join a group or become involved in something that's a little bit different than what they normally do. And we always say to do something different, you have to step outside your comfort zone. So we can all do the same things every day and get used to doing what we're doing. And it's not always easy to go and talk to new people, to meet new people, to do different things. And I mean, I would have this myself sometimes if I want to go cycling or swimming and join a new group in different places, because I spend a lot of time in different towns and cities around the world. And you look up a group and you think, oh, I'd like to do that. And I'm definitely guilty of putting it off for a long time. And then finally joining up with people and saying, well, oh, I don't know, why didn't I do this before? This is great. And it's always so much worthwhile, you know, when you finally do sign up and go to do something and meet new people. And, you know, it just opens doors for you for new opportunities and having a lot of fun.
Once you're there, the fear is over and it's just all enjoyment, isn't it? Thank you, Sonia, for the conversation, the chat, and most importantly, your support of the Great Island Theatre. I guess just to sum up and to, I guess, get people excited about what's to come for the Great Island Theatre charity events. I know we've had a little conversation about a 5-kilometre run in 2026 that you'd be happy to support us with, and just a bit of a nod to what's to come for that event next year.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea to have a 5K run. We can maybe start and finish at the theatre and dress up as your favourite character. So watch this space, and hopefully we'll have the running community and the theatre community coming together in 2026.
Great. I like that idea of the characters. Brilliant idea. Okay. I think that's it, guys. Yeah. Great. If you'd like to join us in turning this old parochial hall into the Great Island Theatre for the community of Cove, pledge a seat today on greatislandtheatre.ie.